Could you maybe calm down a little? Calm down? No way, Jose. Until y'all come clean, it's for your own good, dang it. Our intrepid reporters refuse to give up, even in the face of repeated stonewalling from the crew. Look, you ladies need to stop harassing these people. I have to ask you to... You cops sure got a lot of nerve. Y'all the ones who left Tarosaurus run wild. Hoping to hide the fact that they bred this menace themselves, the staff clinging desperately to the story. Look, we're really not breeding anything. This is a movie set. Says the gal who told me she done seeing Gordy with her own danged eyes. I'm sure I saw something, but that doesn't mean we're keeping monsters here. Alright, break it up. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. And Sean. You're on the trail of this here monster infestation too, huh? No, we're on the trail of a criminal. Lang Shi says, the darkness of a criminal's heart can sometimes be compared to a monster. This is to say, a killer is no different from a monster, really. Agent Lang, this is highly irregular, sir. We can't allow members of the public on the crime scene. These people are important witnesses. I need them to be here. Well, Agent Lang, here we are. Where do you intend to begin? Let's start by summing up the facts. President Wang's body was discovered here this morning. He hadn't been seen since the night before last. Yes, he slipped off without his bodyguards noticing, if I remember correctly. So he was missing for over a day. The last person to see him alive was you, Judge Gavelle, on the roof of the big building. Why are you sweating? Why is your milk sweating? Why did the two of you arrange to meet? I'm sorry, but I can't say. Not even defend yourself from an accusation of murder? Why? Why can't you just tell us? Please, Judge Gavelle, we're trying to help you. Huh, she can't say because she'll only incriminate herself more. I know you had something to do with the president's murder. I'm going to prove it.
Objection!
You said yourself that the body was only found this morning. How do you explain the time that passed between Judge Gavelle's meeting with the president and then? That's exactly what I'm hoping we're about to find out. I'm particularly interested in what happened last night. So why don't you tell us exactly how it all went down? Sean Fenn? Me? We know you were here on the set last night. You were, Sean? You have testimony from the woman over there, and forensic evidence from the footprints that prove it. You came back to run your lines, right? What? You were spying on me? I'm sorry, I was just making sure you were okay. It was late, I was worried about you. How many times do I have to tell you? I don't need you to worry about me. Damn! Sean, that's no way to talk to an adult. She was trying to look out for you. Apologize this instant. Sorry. Is that real? No way. I still refuse to believe it. No way. I told you before, I won't have you speaking to people that way. Wow, it's a whole new Judge Gavelle. See, she's just as strict with her son as she is with those who break the law. Are you listening to me? If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. You must. Oh, he's giving the whole lecture. I want you to try to remember that, alright? Can we get on with the investigation now? Oh, of course. Forgive me. I don't think I've ever seen her so passionate about anything. Guess Judge Gavelle's the mother will take a little getting used to. Are we to understand that you're accusing Sean of being involved somehow, Agent Lang? I just want the truth. I need to know why the president was killed. And by who, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to find out. It makes sense for him to be so determined. The president was practically family to him. Alright, Sean. Perhaps he can tell us what happened last night. Fine by me. Got nothing to hide. Cross-examining a kid, huh? It's not the first time, I guess. I had a bad day yesterday. Messed up a couple takes. We were scheduled to shoot the same scene again today. So I thought I'd put in some extra practice, and that's what I did. It's that simple. It's not like I haven't done it before. It was fine. Nothing happened. We're rehearsing late at night again? But when I called you yesterday evening, Sean, you said you were at the hotel. You called him? Around what time? Must have been 11 p.m. or thereabouts. It's one of our rules. When Sean stays away from home, we have to speak every night. Yeah, well, I wasn't at the hotel. I was here on set. So you lied to me? Sorry. Ooh, now she's mad. I think it's kind of amazing how hard he wants to work on his acting, though. Nonetheless, a parent can't help but worry. For a child alone at night, anything could happen to him. And indeed and did. He got himself entangled in this case. But he said nothing happened, right? He did. Although I can't help but wonder if he was telling the truth.
Hold it!
A bad day? Could you elaborate a little? What have I done to spell it out for you? It was just a bad day, okay? Huh. What do you think? Did you drink too much milk, maybe? How did you... I mean, no. Nothing like that. It might be more accurate to say that his stomach had a bad day. Huh. I thought milk was supposed to be good for you, good for your digestion. Shut up! We're not talking about that. The point is I messed up those takes.
Hold it!
So you wanted to rehearse your lines in preparation for the reshoots? Yeah, I caused enough trouble for everybody messing the things up the first time around. I wasn't about to do that again. I'm a pro. One can only admire his dedication and his sense of responsibility to his coworkers. Sean takes his work so seriously, he's a real inspiration to everybody. Even the takes he said he messed up, it wasn't like there was actually a problem. He just wanted to make them as good as they could be. He always says that even a tiny bit better is... Shut up! Why do you always have to say stuff that people don't need to hear? Oh, sorry, Sean. He can maybe work on his people skills a little more. Anyway, I was saying... Sean, what about you? What about what you just said? How many times have I made you promise? If you're going to rehearse, you're on your own. You have to tell me. I know. That little outburst rather stole my thunder. Let me ask again. What you just said? I think it's pretty cool, though, Sean. What? More interruptions? It's all the hours of practice that makes you the best you can be, little by little by little. I'm the same. I went from small-time thief to average thief, and before I knew it, greatness beckoned. But now that I finally made it, I'm not about to stop doing my best, and neither should you. May I continue? Now, Sean, do you have to rehearse alone? Finally, got my question out without being interrupted.
Hold it!
Are you sure about that? What do you mean? Of course I'm sure. It was a regular evening, nothing out of the ordinary. Huh, a regular evening. How did he say that? Somebody was... Okay, he's just a child. You mustn't be too hard on him. Nothing happened. Really? Nothing to do with the case anyway. At least that's what it sounds like he wants us to believe. But wait, don't we have some evidence related to what happened last night? We do. We also have time to be... We don't have time to be humor in the lives of a child. Let us use what we have to point out the contradiction in his testimony.
Objection!
Pathetic. Nothing happened. I'm sorry, but you're lying. This proves it beyond a doubt. Wait, that's... How did you... That's right, your rehearsal tape. Gah. What? You have video footage from last night? We do. If you watch it, you'll see that it was no ordinary evening. There's a footprint there already. There is. I'm not sure that's an everyday sight, even on a film set. Sean, why would you keep this from me? No reason.
Not so fast!
Liar! That stuff might work on your mommy, kid, but it's not going to work with me. Why did you hide the tape? Sean, you have to tell us. You? Look, I just didn't want anybody to see me rehearsing, okay? I don't like it. Well, everybody's dying. So you were in Paris? Is that it? Yeah, what's so weird about that?
Not so fast!
That's why you didn't hand over the vital evidence? Sean, how could you? Gah! Oh, give me a break. You know about it now, don't you? Sure, the footprint was there. I just ran my lines and went home. That was it. What? Nothing about the giant monster footprint struck you as weird? It's a giant monster footprint. On the set of a giant monster movie. It's not like there isn't all kinds of other weird stuff around here. I don't buy it for a second. Chief, there's something hickey about this kid, sure as I'm standing right here. Dang Skippy there is. Time to scoop under them horns or my name ain't Lot of Heart. Ah, shut up, both of you. I'm done talking.
Objection!
No, you're not. What? I love how we're all just ganging up on this kid. Everybody in this fucking place is ganging up on this kid. The footprint isn't the only strange thing about last night. One other unusual occurrence happened yesterday evening. Oh,
Take that!
yeah, this thing fell from the roof. The model of the Taurosaurus head fell from the roof of that trailer last night. Did you expect us to believe that you knew nothing about that? I don't know what you're talking about. Is that so? I told you, I ran my lines, I went home, that was it. What do I know about some stupid falling head? Are you saying you can prove I know something? Sadly not. It's entirely possible that the head fell after Sean left. No proof, huh? Then this conversation's over. Something tells me he doesn't want to talk about last night anymore than is absolutely necessary. What is he hiding?
Not so fast!
Hold it right there. What is it, Agent Lang? So it's just as I thought. Thanks, Mr. Prosecutor. This footage of yours backs up my theory nicely. What? There's something else on that tape? Yep. Look closely. See the costume up in the top left? Oh yeah, the Taurosaurus suit. Something is different. Do you see it? I'm not sure. Just kind of hanging out and looking a little saggy. Oh, and the zipper on his back is done up tight. The zipper? Huh? That's... yeah, I guess you all see it now, right? On the tape, the zipper's wide open. Why? Because somebody's inside the suit, that's why. What? Mr. Powers, that zipper. What can you tell us about it? Oh, well, we always close it up tight when the suit isn't in use. That's right, Mr. Prosecutor. You remember something else I said not so long ago? Let me refresh your memory. Saying the body could have been hidden in a Taurosaurus suit? That's exactly what I'm saying. Isn't that right, Gavel? You pushed the president off the roof just like I said. Then you hid his body inside that costume. I most certainly did not.
Not so fast!
Protest all you like, I'm not gonna believe you. You're the only person who could have done this. Who could have done this? I thought we already proved that would have been impossible. The movie was set was locked at the time. There's no way Judge Gavel would have been able to get in here.
Not so fast!
What if she had an accomplice? What? I've got a little theory for you. I think you're gonna like it. Mother-son crime? I was waiting down here when Gavel pushed the president off the roof. If the two of them were working together, the problem of the lock goes away. Didn't they work to hide the body together, too? By dragging it over to Taurosaurus suit and stuffing it inside. I was about to say, bro, like Lang, like, I don't... Dog, that is a 51-story high building. If you got pushed off a 51-story high building, you are just absolute dust. You think the murder was really that carefully planned? It's the assassination of a world leader. How high that fence was? True. And for her, for Gavel to push over somebody as beefy as that guy, yeah, I don't believe it. Could only have happened. Wow. It could only have been carefully placed.
Overruled!
Overruled. To suggest that Sean could have been involved in this is unthinkable.
Not so fast!
You're my prime suspect. What makes you think I'm going to listen to a word you say? What about motive? What reason would either of them have to kill President Wang? Who knows? We'll find out soon enough. She was the last one to meet with him, and she won't tell us why. Pretty darn suspicious. Even you have to agree with that. Judge Gavel, I don't suppose I can convince you to share any more details? My apologies, but this is the one thing I cannot do. However, rest assured, should that ever change, you will be the first to know. So please, you have to believe me? Yeah, murderers have a habit of saying that. What about you, kid? Any weak excuses to offer? If so, now's the time to get them off your chest. got nothing to say to you. I'm innocent. Both as tight-lipped as each other, huh? But let me guess, you're still going to try and stick up for them. It's true. Judge Gavel's action certainly makes her seem suspicious, but nothing she has told us amounts to a motive for murder, or even the suggestion of one. No, and like I said, I'm leaving motive aside for now. For the moment, I'm focusing on means and opportunity. And for my money, these two had to be working together for their little plot to succeed. Look at him. He's still in elementary school. There's no way a kid that young would be involved in something like this. I think I mentioned that he's a junior high, right? Lang Shi says, "Pity no wolf, be he cub or grizzled elder. It doesn't matter how young he is. If he's guilty, he's guilty, and he'll be treated as such." Wow. Wolf cubs have it hard, huh? I'm surprised at you, Mr. Prosecutor. You're saying he deserves mercy just because of his age? Of course not. I'm saying that there's no way he did this. I'm going to prove it to you. Huh. I look forward to it. But be warned, I'm only just getting warmed up.
Hold it!
Goes our way how exactly? I thought you might try this, but you and I both know exactly how. Let me make it nice and simple for you. First, she pushes the president off the roof. Pushes. Okay. Then the kid opens the combination lock because he knows the code. Yup. Kid opens code, knows lock, gotcha. No, okay, the other way around. And that's it. It's that simple. No more lock to worry about. And no more objections about her not being able to get in because she doesn't know the code. I'll explain away the problem of the lock, it's true. Thank you for your clear and incisive explanation, Agent Lang. Please continue. I will, and hopefully this next part will shut you up for good.
Hold it!
But if the two of them were working together, why would they need to hide the body for a full day?
Knock them back!
Well, look at the situation right in front of you. Thanks to that little ruse, we're still puzzling over what they were up to even now. But if you'll let me speak, I can clear up this whole mess once and for all. Ready? Good. Like I was saying, they worked together to hide the body.
Hold it!
Video footage doesn't show the inside of the suit. You can't say for certain that there was a body in there at the time, can you? Not? But can we take a look right now? Let's open it and see what's inside. I'll put money on finding proof it was in there. Mind if we examine the suit, Mr. Powers? Oh, not at all. Might be a little ripe, though. Gets pretty sweaty in there. That's something. Excelsior! Yeah, that's weird. I was cleaning out pretty good. If you don't, it can get kind of moldy.
Knock them back!
In other words, what we're looking at is proof that somebody other than you used the costume. That dirt in there must have come from the body. I guess the president was lying right in the middle of that footprint. He probably would have gotten pretty dirty. Exactly. Well, everybody happy?
Hold it!
The dirt is from when the body was inside the suit. We're assuming that it came directly from the body, correct? Huh. What are you even talking about? Of course we are. Where else would it come from? Well, he was pretty filthy in there, huh? Dirt got everywhere. Especially around the part where the chest would have been. Chest. I think that might be an important clue. Theory hangs together pretty well, I have to say. It's certainly the case that could have carried out the murder if they were working together. I don't think we stand to gain much by disputing that. So what do we do instead? We listen carefully to his testimony once more. See if we can tease out anything of value.
Objection!
Bonk, bonk. So our assumption is that inside the suit is dirty because the dirt came from the body. Would it be safe to say that's the case? Why? Why? Is there a problem? The part of the suit directly in front of the opening is particularly dirty. Yeah, it really is. But look at the victim. The area of his body that would have been in contact with that part of the suit isn't dirty at all. If the victim had been crammed in there, as you suggest, his chest would surely be covered in dirt. Ah. Fine, so what's your explanation? How did all that dirt get inside there? Based on that videotape, it may well have been somebody in the suit at the time. So who was it if it wasn't the president? Come on, Kay, think. Where was it? Is something the matter, Kay? I've seen dirt like that somewhere else, I'm sure of it. I just can't think of where. dirt with weird little gray bits in it. Gray bits. She's right. There is something mixed in there. It was stuck to something else we looked at. Lots of it. Stuck to something we looked at? An item of evidence, maybe? Probably worth checking.
Take that!
As Kay pointed out, the dirt in the suit contains small flecks of something gray. Uh-huh, and? We discovered similar flecks to an item belonging to somebody we recently had dealings with. The item in question being these gloves. You're right, the dirt does look similar, but so what? What are you saying this stuff is? What exactly are these gray flecks of yours? I believe the gray flecks are... Surely they're flecks of concrete. Oh, like all the broken little bits around the footprints, you mean? Exactly. And who did the gloves on which we found similar dirty and gray flecks belong to? Chairman Winter! We found them in his garage. That's right, we visited the garage at his home earlier today. We found a pair of mechanic gloves covered in dirt. If I recall correctly, a sledgehammer and a shovel, too. Why would a pair of mechanic's gloves be covered in dirt? I'll tell you why, because somebody wore them while they used that hammer and shovel. They smashed through the concrete of the dirt below, staining the gloves with both substances. Wait, so you're saying... Yes, we finally know what these footprints really are. It seems highly likely that they were dug by Chairman Winter.
Knock them back!
Highly likely? Pah, that's so. Then tell me this. Why the heck did they make them? What purposes could they possibly serve? He's trying to bury bodies? He was burying bodies. I think he must have been burying something. Oh, never mind.
Knock them back!
Excuse me. You think the cops didn't catch already? There was nothing buried under any of these footprints. Gah! Seems I was mistaken. Digging up treasure, Doug. There's something on this lot that he needed to unearth. In order to do so, he cut the chain on the side entrance and gained access from there. He then used a sledgehammer and shovel to dig up 3 footprints. When he found what he was looking for, he bagged it up and filled in all the holes. Ah, but Shaw must have showed up, right? I think he did, yes. Chairman Winter would have had to find a hiding place. The Pterosaurus suit provided just that. Yeah. Got all that from a pair of dirty gloves? It's good. But it's all just speculation. We don't have any proof that he was inside that suit. He could have dug those holes and snuck out of here before the kid even showed up.
Objection!
But he didn't, and there's proof of that right there, in the footage. Shows that Chairman Winter was still present when the recording was made. What? It's a shame that Agent Lang didn't notice it himself. But if we compare the situation as we see it now, it soon becomes clear that the chairman was present. I didn't even see that. I didn't even put that together, the bag. I didn't even look at the bag when we got Eustace.
Take that!
Bonk, bonk. Look at the bag next to Pterosaurus suit. We saw the same bag in Chairman Winter's garage. Same bag. The dirt on the gloves? That has to indicate a connection, surely. I think that pretty much seals it. It was Excelsius Winter in the suit. And if he was there, the president's body can't have been. Aya! I love doing that, bro. Good! Seems I've convinced Agent Lang on the flaws in his theory. Somebody get to Chairman Winter's house right away. We know what's in that bag. Yes, sir. Y'all done lost your mind? I can't believe what I'm hearing here. What is this hog swill? I think they may have finally shut them up. I thought the kid was holding out on us. It seemed I might could have been maybe a little wrong, maybe. All right, we know what the so-called monster was now. Everybody happy? Everybody except these two. Agent Lang. Or Agent Lang. The president's autopsy report is out, sir. It is? Let me see it. Death was due to full body contusions and bone breakages caused by extreme pressure from above. Though he ever caused a death, he was crushed. Just as we thought. Test results still haven't come back from the yellow substances found on his chest. But they did find gunshot residue on his right hand. Gunshot? Gum shop residue? Guess he was a kid at heart, huh? Gunshot residue, okay? It's a substance left behind when a firearm is discharged. It's president indicates that the president may have used a gun. Really? We didn't find a gun anywhere, did we? Indeed not, which makes the residue something of a riddle. We need to read that report carefully. Well, Agent Lang, that clears one thing up at least. The president didn't die from a fall, which means he wasn't pushed off from the roof of the big building. He was crushed by the falling Taurosaurus head, just as we said he was. Guess I have to accept that now. Fine, you were right. Amazing, so does that mean Judge Gavelle isn't a suspect anymore? Surely it mustn't. Both the cause and time of her death rule her out. She met with the president the night before last. But the autopsy report puts the time of death at around 11 p.m. last night. But we know that Taurosaurus head fell around then too. The facts all line up perfectly. Not so fast.
Not so fast.
Yeah. Sorry, it might be a little too soon to celebrate. What? Sure, I think we can accept the falling head must have been what killed the president. But that begs the question of what could have caused it to fall, or who. We know what happened late last night, so we have to think about who was here at the time.
Overruled.
What are you getting at exactly? Can't mean. I'm afraid I do. You did it, didn't you? Sean. Kid's hiding something. He was right here last night, right where the body was found. He saw the footprints. And he wants us to believe he knows nothing about what happened? That's a big ass, surely.
Objection!
We haven't yet established the footprints had anything to do with the murder. So even if he did see them, that doesn't mean he was involved.
Not so fast.
Maybe not, but his face tells me different. As the fact he's shaking like a leaf. Does seem like Agent Lang might be onto something. I don't think Sean's going to talk. Fine, keep your mouth shut, kid. I have a better idea. Why don't we let your tape do the talking? What exactly are you planning, Agent Lang? The police have some pretty sophisticated image analysis tools these days. You go to such extreme lengths to see my son convicted? It's not ideal, but if the boy won't talk, we don't have any other way of getting to the truth. Detective Gumshoe, you have access to exactly such a device, do you not? Sure do. Little V. Good. Then that should make this nice and quick. Mr. Edgeworth, I request that it be you who carries out the analysis in question. Why me? I fear that Agent Lang might be inclined to believe the worst. Image analysis isn't exactly my specialty, but alright. Here we go again. There, nothing there. Whoa!
Eureka!
Eureka! I haven't heard that in a while. What the? What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Let me see. What is it? What's the matter? Show me. Mr. Edgeworth, the court asks that you share your findings. Zoom in on the top right part of the image and look closely. There's a person there. It's the president. Ayah! Oh my. What? You're kidding, right? Well, I'd say that's pretty decisive, wouldn't you? This doesn't look good for Sean at all. Wait, this doesn't prove anything. I didn't know he was there. I don't believe you. The image does in fact prove something very important. That you and the president were here at the scene of the crime together. I'll admit it, kid. You murdered President Wang. No, that's ridiculous. Why would he? Sean, you did it. Can't have, can you? What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? It's hard to push back against footage like that. Surely even you can't deny that this looks pretty bad for the kid, Mr. Prosecutor. Ugh. He claimed he knew nothing of what happened, but the president is right there with him. Sean, What are you not telling us? We have to know. He's right, Sean. Be honest now. It's the only way. The truth is, it was all my fault. Sean, what did you do? It was my fault the Taurosaurus head fell off the trailer. Oh boy. What happened while I was rehearsing? I went up on the roof of the trailer to prep the kit I was using, and I turned on the heater while I was there. Must have left it burning when I came back down to run my lines. Then my mom called, and I left the set to go talk to her. When I came back after the call, the Taurosaurus head had fallen from the roof, and the president was just there lying next to it. No. We did find evidence of a fire having broken out up on the roof. It was just a tiny one, so I put it out myself. So we're saying the president died because of Sean? If he did, that would make this whole thing just an accident. What did you do with the head after you found it on the ground? I took it apart, carried the pieces up to the roof, and put it back together again.
Not so fast!
You're saying you put out the fire and moved the head back to where it fell from? In other words, you try to cover up your tracks. You're a real piece of work, kid. It's not like I did any of this on purpose. I really did just forget to turn the heater off. Guess when the fire had burned through the legs, the table would have collapsed and the head would have fallen down on the ground below. You're right. The fire caused the head to fall. Indeed. I also happen to have an idea about how the fire may have started. The cans of paint thinner by the heater are pretty flammable. Not a great place to keep them.
Not so fast!
Do you swear it was an accident? Seems a little convenient. What was the president even doing here in the first place? How the heck am I supposed to know? I didn't see anybody, I swear. I still don't believe you. Why would President Wang come to a place like this in the middle of the night? The reason for coming here are something of a mystery, it's true. Met Judge Gavel up on the roof 2 nights ago. He was also here on the movie set last night. Did he come to meet Sean?
Hold it!
You're a fit and a hearty young man, Sean. It's spring now. Surely you don't really need to fire up that stove.
Overruled!
He's a fit, hearty young man who needs to look after himself.
Objection!
Really, Your Honor? But if he resorts to such measures, even the warm weather... Seriously? You two are going to argue over something like that right now? He's right, of course. You made your point, Sean. I've told you before to watch how you talk to people. I think he was criticizing you as much as he was me, Your Honor. Guess, Mom. Anyway, where was I?
Hold it!
You left it burning? You didn't think to check before you came back down to the lot? I meant to, but I was thinking about my lines and the scene and everything else. It's not my fault I forgot. Everybody forgets stuff. I sure do. So much stuff. I'll leave the air conditioner on in Mr. Edgeworth's office and the lights. Forget that he told me never to jump off the ladder of his bookshelf or make prank calls. But the only thing I would never ever forget to do is turn off an unattended heater. Yeah. Please, Sean, go on. Jeez, a lot, huh? Anyway, as I was saying. It was the middle of the night and the set was deserted. Why did you need to leave in order to talk to your mother? I forgot I was supposed to talk to her. I got confused, I guess. I thought if I didn't leave, she'd find out I was out at the hotel last night. That doesn't make sense. You know that, don't you? Fine. Look, the camera was rolling and the mics were all live, okay? I don't want our conversation on that tape where anybody can hear it. He was embarrassed about being recorded speaking on the phone to his mother? So I ditched the rehearsal and ran off his set as quickly as I could.
Hold it!
You pretend to your mother that you were back at the hotel during the call, correct? How come you couldn't tell you were coming back to the set to practice your lines? Because she'd have phoned the hotel and asked them to send a car to get me or something.
Overruled!
Of course I would have. A child your age shouldn't be out on his own late at night. Anything could have happened to you. Children really can't see things from their parents' perspective, can they? It's true the other way around, too, you know, Mr. Edgeworth. All right, Sean, can you tell us what happened when you came back after speaking to your mother? Huh? Oh, sure. So I came back and...
Hold it!
Were there any other signs that I was about to fall before you left? I don't remember. I was concentrating on my lines. But a fire had broken out on the roof because of the heater you forgot to turn on. Did you really hear nothing the entire time? No, I had my headphones on. Huh? Why? I was playing the soundtrack to the movies to help me concentrate, and I was playing it loud. So yeah, I definitely didn't hear anything. Except for the sound of your phone ringing when Judge Gavelle called you. You know that cell phone vibrates these days, right? Anyway.
Hold it!
Did you notice anything unusual about the body? I don't know. It was dark. Hella edgy. He suddenly seems even more reticent than usual. Reticent. I don't think he wants to go back over that memory anymore than he has to, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sure he doesn't, but is that really all it is? Should I push him a little more on this? It was dark, but you knew it was a body nonetheless? He's hiding something. Better find out what. Most people would cry out for help if they saw somebody lying on the ground. And yeah, you didn't. Yeah, because, what was the point? He was dead. So you said, what I'm interested in is how you were able to be so sure. How are you certain that he was dead? He would lie on the ground and that huge head was right next to him. Didn't take much to figure out what must have happened.
Objection!
Couldn't have guessed that impact would have killed him. How did you really know? I'll tell you how, because you checked. Fine, I checked, okay? I was scared, but yeah, I went up to the body and I looked. He wasn't breathing. Oh, right. Why try to hide that fact? Must be his reason. Could you tell me how the body looked at that point? I couldn't tell if he was dead at first. There was no blood or anything, so it was hard to be sure. Nothing on his clothes either. He was completely clean. But yeah, he wasn't breathing. So that's how I knew he was dead. Thank you. I'd like you to add that statement to your testimony if you don't mind.
Objection!
Nothing on his clothes? Nothing at all? Yeah, nothing. Why? Is there a problem with that? There's something you're clearly hoping that we've forgotten. What are you talking about? There isn't. That's not true. Unluckily for you, we remember it rather well. I'm talking, of course, about the yellow speckles on the president's chest. You studiously avoided mentioning them throughout your testimony. Their absence I find suspicious, to say the least. Oh, I hope for your sake that you have the satisfactory explanation.
Overruled!
Judge Gavelle? Allow me to explain. You? But the yellow residue on the president's chest, I imagine it was from a bouquet of flowers. Lion lilies, to be precise. Lion lilies? 2 nights ago, when I met the president on the roof of the big building, I presented him with a bouquet. It's a type of lily with a large yellow petal. I imagine that the substance on President Wang's chest was pollen from those flowers. Huh? But they're not there in the printout from the security camera. Only because the president is in the way. Why give him flowers? That is not something I'm at liberty to divulge.
Not so fast!
What? More secrets? Are you serious? First you wouldn't tell us why you met with him, and now you can't even tell us about the flowers? My sincerest apologies, but all I can tell you is that I gave him the bouquet.
Objection!
Bouquet that was nowhere near the body when it was discovered. How do you explain that? I cannot. Huh. Seriously, Your Honor? Same things you won't explain, the rest you can. Some things. Come on, you've got to give us something here. You wouldn't let this fly in the courtroom. What makes you think we'll accept it? Hey, you leave her alone. Sean, I threw the flowers away, okay? You did? So they were there when you first found the body? Yeah, they were right there on his chest. They were squashed completely flat. Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? They would have gotten crushed along with the president. The pollen would have been smeared across his jacket front. That does explain things rather neatly. Why remove the bouquet and dispose of it? No reason. It's almost as evasive as his mother. More secrets? They're quite a pair.
Overruled!
There's no secret. I know exactly why Sean disposed of the bouquet. Huh? You saw me leave the house with it, didn't you? Oh, I get it. When you saw the flowers on the president's body, you remember seeing your mom with them. I felt the need to prevent her from coming under suspicion. No, you got it all wrong. It's the least convincing lie yet. I often decorate our home with lion lilies. I imagine that's why he remembered.
Not so fast.
So the flowers of his mother was carrying showed up on the president's body. And because of that, he got rid of the bouquet and kept quiet about having discovered the corpse? Well, that ties everything up nicely, doesn't it? A little too nicely for my taste. Why? What's wrong with nice? Old ass motherfucker. I guess you forgot, huh? The kid also told us that he was responsible for the head falling in the first place. Yeah, he did, but he's still our only suspect.
Objection!
The finger of suspicion still seems to be pointing firmly in Sean's direction. However, wait. I can start to think of a far more likely culprit than the boy. What? Who? The person who was holding Sean captive until only a short while ago. Oh, here we go. Oh, I'd even see he does have his coat on over him. Aw. Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't switched on. Poor kid might have frozen to a popsicle otherwise. He was doing his best to call out for help, which is how we found him. The sedatives have worn off by then, so he was wide awake and plenty loud. Sedatives? Isn't that what you were given to? Yep. We found the bottle on the floor of the unit. It was even the same brand. 3 Z's. Apparently, it's super strong. Yeah, you could knock out an orchid with that fucking thing. Well, Agent Lang, surely that suggests that Sean is a victim, not a suspect? Somebody else was responsible, and I think they've been behind all of this.
Not so fast.
Oh yeah? And this secret mastermind of yours was here last night too? That, I can't yet say. Ha! It's not like you to be so vague, Mr. Prosecutor. Sadly, we just don't have anything to tie our mysterious kidnapper to the murder of the president. So is there anybody else? Somebody other than Sean who could have committed the murder. Of course. So I was right, the kid is still our only suspect.
Objection!
Not quite. I can think of another. What? Somebody who we just recently proved was right here on the movie set last night. Chairman Winner. You think he killed President Wang? Why not? We've proven that he was a president. And if he was here, he's as viable a suspect as anybody else, wouldn't you say? Winner. He really have... It's certainly another possibility to consider. 12 years ago, he was... That number again. 12 years reference. She didn't take off her coat again, bruh. Agent Lang, what happened 12 years ago? It's nothing to do with you. I think it has everything to do with me. It's clearly connected to this case.
Not so fast.
You can prove that, can you? Go ahead, show me some proof that what happened 12 years ago has anything to do with this. Proof? If you can't prove it, this conversation's over.
Take that.
This letter was sent to Rosie Ringer, the victim of a murder that happened the night before last. We don't know who sent it, but it does say this. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. What? But that's not all. Take a look at this. It's a report about Bronco Knight written by Warden Lagarde. It was addressed to Chairman Winner. This last part in particular should be of interest to you. Retrieve the package we laid to rest 12 years ago in front of the planter. Something strange is going on, Agent Lang. Miss Ringer was murdered the night before last, and President Wang not long after. There's a connection between the two murders. There has to be. And I believe we can trace that connection to events 12 years in the past. Am I wrong? These are old wounds you're opening here. Insults my family. Insults to my family name. Please, Agent Lang, we need to know. Come on, who hold it now, bruh? Who on earth was that? Shifu! Huh? What are you all doing here? We came to find you, sir. We heard you were looking into the incident from 12 years ago. Idiots! I'm not your boss anymore. Get back to your duties right now. We can't do that, sir. What? You're disobeying a direct order? Please, sir, I'm begging you. We all are. You have to reopen the investigation into the SS5 incident. We know you can't let it go until you figured out what happened, and we can't either. Well, Agent Lang, it seems your former underlings want the events of the past explained too. Think it's that easy? They can solve the case just like that? I think we can, together. Well, all right then. Offer accepted. Yes, Shifu. 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 Let's go. Nice. Then I guess it's my turn to step up. I'm sorry, Kay. You're looking into a case from the past, right? I just happen to have something that'll help with that. You mean Mr. Thief? Sure do. If you give me the details of the incident, I can rustle up a little simulation for you. Sadly, we don't have the files relating to the case. Huh? How come? Access to those files is restricted. They're top secret. Really? Why? Beats me. Somebody must have something to hide. Even I've never seen them. Everything I know, I read in the newspaper articles from the time. That's fine. Just tell us what you can. All right. All right, here we go. We'll probably hear Lang's explanation, then I'll probably call it. The SS5 incident happened on a winter's day 12 years ago, February 10th to be precise. Your police received a call directly from the kidnapper. Got the president of Zhengfa, so it was kidnapped. Yeah, SS5 is the official designation of the president's kidnapping case. The kidnapper wanted $100 million. $100 million? How much money even is that? More than you can imagine, it seems. The last person to see the president that night was my father. They were together at the embassy of Zhengfa until midnight of the 10th. And nobody knows what happened with the president after that until he was kidnapped. Our government did everything they could to scrape together the money. They were desperate to save him. And in the end, they succeeded. The money was handed over, and the president came home safely. So President Wang was head honcho even back then? Wow, go Mr. President! The length of time he stayed in power isn't even close to the most impressive thing about him. Agent Lang was clearly very fond of President Wang. I assume this kidnapping was thoroughly investigated? It was, but the investigation was top secret, as was the trial. Trial? The trial? So a suspect was arrested? Yeah, none other than our friend, Fifi Lagarde. What? Is that why you visited the prison? It is. I was put on what you might call extended leave from the Interpol, so I thought I'd use the time to look into what happened 12 years back. I wanted to see who I was dealing with. She was found not guilty then, wasn't she? Yeah. My father was in charge of the president's security at the time, but they held him responsible for the kidnapping and stripped him of his duties as presidential bodyguard. He stayed on the force, though, and he worked the case alone until eventually he found a suspect, Lagarde. And even if he thought she did it, there's no way she was innocent. But they declared her not guilty, and the case went cold. My father couldn't take it. He was broken mentally and physically. Finally, he quit the force altogether. So he had solid grounds to suspect Warren Lagarde. He must have had evidence. He wouldn't have charged her otherwise. But I've never been able to see the materials from the case. I'm sorry, but that's all I know. What do we do now, Mr. Edgeworth? This is useful information, but I don't think it's enough for Little Thief to recreate the scene. Ugh. There's really nothing we can do. Now who, bruh? You look like you could use a hand. My god, look at everybody around here, bruh. Holy smokes. Who's this now? Hey, yes! 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 Let's go, Francisca. Hey, Mr. Fender. We finally wrapped things up over at the courthouse, so we thought we'd see what you kids were up to. Here. What's this? It says SS5 incident investigation report. When Fifi Lagarde mentioned the incident from 12 years ago earlier, I couldn't help but wonder. So I decided to look into it. This is what the Interpol provided. Nice work, Francisca. Don't get the wrong idea, Miles Edgeworth. You're no longer a prosecutor. I didn't do this for you. I did it so that a colleague could solve his father's final case. I owe you, sis. But everything related to the SS5 incident was supposed to be top secret. Yes, but the classification was applied by the prosecutor in charge of the case, Excelsior Winner. He was the prosecutor in charge? Him again. Don't worry. Due to the outcome of this morning's case, he's been stripped of his authority. An outcome was in no small part thanks to the efforts of his own son. I like his new theme, bruh. Eustace. So in defeating his father, he made the old case file available to us? Sounds like we owe him. W. Eustace. Prosecutor Eustace Winner is busy wrapping things up after the conclusion of the Lagarde trial. But he asked me to give you a message. Leave Dad and Lagarde to me. You focus on your case over there. Aw, he's even starting to sound like a prosecutor. Indeed he is. Alright! Now that we have the case files, I can recreate the scene, no problem. Excellent. Let's get started. According to the file, the incident occurred exactly where the plaza is now. What are we waiting for? With me, everybody! Hey, Fender's going with us. Wow, look at the whole gangs here. Why? Oh my god. Why is Lotta Hart in tabloids still here? God in heaven, go away! Go away! All right, Kay. If you can set Mr. Thief in motion, sure. Looks like there's more than enough here to work with. Where do you want to start? Good question. Let's see. It seems there was an eyewitness. Oh, who is he? A freelance journalist by the name of Alf Alden. Alf Aldown. But apparently, he was killed by the culprit for witnessing the kidnapping. So this is where he saw it all happen, huh? Old bag, bruh. Here, as in the big building? No, construction of the big building only begun a year ago. Before that, it had been a piece of abandoned property. And before that, now we're getting to the stuff I know. 12 years ago, this place would have been the Happy Family Home. Like for retired people? No, it's a place for children without parents. An orphanage, in other words. The president was kidnapped from the orphanage. Yeah, and the place was run by Fifi Lagarde. She called it her happy little home. That's so weird. She did the same thing with the prison. As the proprietor of the institution, I suppose it's understandable that she came under suspicion. President Wang, Excelsior Winner, and Warden Lagarde? Surely the SS5 incident must be related to our current case. Okay, could you enter the data related to the murder of Mr. Ald? So if we solve the murder, we solve the kidnapping. Nice. All right, counting on you. Look at everybody here, bruh. Besides, you know, fucking Lotta. I'd even take the men in black, bruh. Damn. What the heck is this? Why did I grow to become so blazed towards people's reactions to Mr. Thief? What we're seeing here is the front yard of the orphanage as it was 12 years ago. At least, as far as the police reports describe it. Yeah, this is how it was done. This is how it is when they started investigating at 7 a.m. in the morning after the murder. And it seems that it had been snowing. Yeah, from what I heard, the footprints wound up being pretty important evidence. The snow fell in the daytime the previous day. In other words, before the incident occurred, meaning that none of the relative footprints would have been obscured by the new snow. I think we'll need to pay these footprints some special attention. Perfect timing. Sean Fenn. I cannot thank you all enough for returning Sean safely to me. I want to kick him out, though. We Alf all down. Wow, that was a terrible pun. I can hardly bear to imagine how I would have felt if he had not come home. Hey, old guy, can't you see you're upsetting her? That was not my intent at all. Look at our little knight in shining armor defending his mother's honor. Shut up. I wouldn't have to if you didn't keep... That's enough, Sean. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll allow me. I would like to apologize again. I failed in my duty as a servant of justice. I will not ask you to forgive me. I only ask you to understand that I... Judge Cavell, I don't presume to know the goddess of justice as well as you do. But she was a mother, was she not? Of other gods and goddesses? She was. Fair judgment requires personal circumstances to be taken into account. I'm sure she would understand. Perhaps your beloved goddess is more merciful than you give her credit for. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. What are they even talking about? Don't worry, Sean. I don't have a clue either. So things are finally settling down after word on the guard's trial? It would seem so. Sentencing is still to come, but the guilty verdict should stand. Do not worry. Excelsius Winter's connection to the case will be thoroughly investigated. Have faith, Mr. Edgeworth. Eustace is a changed man. Indeed, he simply had some growing to do. But then don't we all, Kay included. Huh? Kinda feel for him now. I said some pretty mean things, but I'll make it up to him next time I get the chance. I am sure that chance will come, but for now, indeed, we need to focus on the case at hand. Alright, 3 planters covered with snow. Anything the matter, Agent Lang? Oh shit. Yeah, something's not right. I wasn't able to look at the case file until now. Indeed. You have Chairman Winter to thank for that, it seems. Yeah, but what's weird is I've seen this scene somewhere before. What? But where? I keep thinking I've got it, but then it's gone. Appears to be lost in his efforts to remember. Perhaps I should leave him alone for now. As I'm gonna ask him some questions. President Wang changed after the SS5 incident. I guess he felt his trust had been betrayed. I can understand that. But to cut ties with my family completely? After how close we've been for all those years? My father was desperate to make amends, to get just one chance to say sorry. But no matter how many times he tried to get an audience with the president, he couldn't. He couldn't even convince them to take a letter to him. One time he came home covered in bruises. Who knows from where? A bodyguard, maybe? Sorry, there's no point making you sit through the old stories that won't change anything anyway. I'll be the judge of that. As warm and fuzzy as ever, I see. Not that I expected any different. That case ruined my father, and my family, too. The people who failed to keep the president safe. That's all we were after that. He threw himself heart and soul into that investigation. He became obsessed, in other words. Hardly the best state of mind of which to undertake an inquiry. You really don't pull your punches, huh? Look, just don't go thinking I'm only doing this because of my dad, okay? That investigation was solid. His work was meticulous and it was accurate. It always was. He interviewed every single one of those kids, and he made sure they told him everything. Wonder if he learned anything of value. There are burn marks on this pillar here. The reporter says there was a fire sometime on the evening of the incident. A fire? Let's see. Where was it again? Yeah, one of the orphans set a fire with some kerosene. Some sort of prank, probably. Sound like a lively bunch. Possibly too lively. It seems their antics spoiled our chances of finding any footprints near the entrance of the building. Set the orphanage yard on fire as a prank. Wow. Alf Alldown, the man who witnessed the president's kidnapping. But what exactly did he see? I based this part of the recreation on one of the crime scene photos. Seems he suffered a blow to the back of the head with a brick. Yeah, from that brick right there, they figured it must have been taken from here in the yard. Looks like the blood flowed from the head wound and spread over the surrounding area. Here, a gift for you. This is Mr. Alldown's autopsy report. This cell phone must have belonged to the victim. You're right. Yeah, it says here in the file that Mr. Alldown made a call while he was watching the kidnapping. Call? To whom? His girlfriend. Seems he called her when he saw that president was there. But she didn't pick up, so he left a message. That's in here too if you want to hear it. Please. Hey Rosie, it's me. I guess you're asleep already. Anyway, I'm here at the orphanage. Something weird's going on. President Wang is here for some reason. And there's another... Damn it! The light's out. So I can't quite see, but... It looks like he was being kidnapped? Anyway, probably nothing, but I thought I should let you know... Damn! What were those sounds at the end? He must have been attacked while he was still on the phone. Agent Lang, can I ask you something? Mr. Alldown's girlfriend, what was her name? Ringer. Rosie Ringer. At least that's what I heard. Just as I thought. Wait, you mean her revenge for what happened 12 years ago? All Miss Ringer was left with were the memories and personal effects of her lover. And so, seeking revenge on Chairman Winner, she made her appearance at the auction. So she really was out for revenge on Chairman Winner, wasn't she? Perhaps it was for his suppression of the kidnapping. Or perhaps it was because she thought he was one of the kidnappers. Alpha Down. Freelance journalist. Killed after witnessing the kidnapping of President Wang. Even in the recreation, it's pretty gruesome, huh? It's even worse than the actual crime scene photos. It's a lot of blood. It seems mostly to have come from the back of his head, as you can see that area is completely caked. And the autopsy report says that's where the hit was with the brick. Indeed. I imagine his attacker must have stuck on him from behind. It looks like he's clutching something in his right hand. Oh yeah, they mentioned that in the file somewhere. Let's see. According to this, it was a button. A button? Torn from the attacker's clothing, perhaps? So the victim was carrying a camera. Oh yeah, according to the file, they recovered a picture. Yeah, here we are. Oh, that looks suspicious. It's the president, right? It's somebody's pointing a gun at him. This must be Mr. Alldown witness. The person in the trench coat is the kidnapper? Yes, I imagine they were trying to conceal their identity. But if Agent Lang's father's theory was correct, the person wearing that trench coat is Warren Lagarde. Definitely doesn't look like it. How come they only found the one picture? He probably wasn't able to take any more before he was attacked. He doesn't look like Lagarde, that's for sure. I mean, granted, she's all puffed out because of that coat. These planters. According to the case file, the yard stretched around 3 sides of the orphanage. And there were 3 planters on each side. Yes, planters arranged in a very particular pattern. Once we've seen somewhere before. Same, there aren't many flowers, but I guess it was in the middle of winter. Yes, but look at one, it's bright yellow. My hair is like shedding, bro. Weird. How come there's only one? Wait, looks like somebody dropped it. That's a lion lily, if I'm not very much mistaken. We're a member of the family of Liliaceae? A lion lily use. Wait, didn't Judge Gavel give President Wang some lion lilies? What's the same flower doing here? This can't be a coincidence. Can it? I believe this particular cultivar is from Asia, where it's said to be symbolized the bond between a parent and a child. I wasn't aware you were so knowledgeable when it came to flowers, Francisca. Huh, what I just told you is common knowledge. Perhaps you just need to read a little more. Just trying. Okay? So that's what our monstrous hoof prints really were. Wait, what? Recall the arrangements of the prints, now compare it to that of the planters. Whoa. That's right, I believe the footprints are located exactly where our planters once stood. So Chairman Winter was digging around the front of them? He was. And why might he have been doing it? Oh my god, excuse me. Why might he have been doing that? Monk, bonk. We have a piece of evidence in our possession that answers exactly that question. Which piece of evidence shows why Chairman Winter might have been digging in front of the planters. Oh my god.
Take that!
excuse me while I'm being stupid. Recall, if you will, the report that Warren Lagarde sent to Chairman Winter. In it, she mentioned something that had laid to rest in front of a planter. You think she was telling him where to dig? If I need help, I'll let y'all know. Wait, but why 3 holes? Because the report didn't specify which of the planters she meant. I get it. So he wasn't sure which one it was. Which means he had to try to dig up all 3. I imagine so, yes. Poor Chairman Winter. But why go to all that trouble? What was he looking for? I think that's about all we can learn from the scene for now. All right, how about I try to show you how things looked earlier on that night? That would be very much appreciated. Could you take us back to the moment at which the victim witnessed the kidnapping? Sure, I'll use the photograph he took. Here goes nothing. Damn! There's Mr. All down in the middle of the planters. There's the president and his kidnapper out by the road. My father based his investigation on the evidence Alldown provided. That's why he thought the kidnapping and the orphanage were connected somehow. And how he wound up suspecting Fifi Lagarde, she was the one running the orphanage at the time. Exactly. But when the case went to trial, Excelsius Winter put a big hole in that theory. He did? Yeah, after all, the president and the kidnapper weren't actually on the grounds of the orphanage. So it was hard to conclusively prove any kind of connection. Huh, so they were never seen inside the gates of the orphanage. Detectives bust a gut to find evidence on the scene. And then prosecutors come along and twist it for their own ends. And that's why he hates us. Winter and Lagarde were working together. They had some kind of deal. I'm sure of it. So you're saying that Chairman Winter was working with the kidnapper? Your father was convinced that Lagarde was the culprit, correct? And you say he was a gifted and thorough investigator. Then he must have had no more to support his theory than just Mr. Alldown's message, surely. Yeah, he must have. I just don't know what it was. It wasn't exactly a case he liked talking about. Agent Lang's father, DeLong Lang. DeLong. Trusted ally and confidant. Yeah, confidant of President Lang. He discovered truths that were subsequently suppressed by Chairman Winter. Our first priority should be to find out what they were. Hey, that snowman. It was melting in the simulation of the morning after the murder, huh? And that muffler was all wet, and his little button eye's fallen off. Indeed, it still looks reasonably healthy at this point. Although not entirely. I can see one thing that's missing. Aw, oh, poor guy. I bet some kid took it as a stupid prank. Not a bad piece of thieving, though. Maybe they had potential. You think one of the orphans took it? I'm not so sure. In fact, I think it was grabbed by somebody else entirely. Eureka!
Eureka!
This snowman is missing a certain something, wouldn't you say? Yeah, his right eye. Indeed. Luckily, we managed to locate it. The button Mr. Alldown was holding. Look at that. It's the same type of button as the other eye and everything. And if we suppose that the button was indeed the snowman's missing eye, that presents something of a contradiction. What does the button contradict? The victim was clutching the button, and the button was covered with his blood, which means he must have grabbed it after being attacked. Let's run a little hypothetical, shall we? What if, after being struck, Mr. Alldown lost his balance and reached out to grab something to steady himself, the snowman? The snowman would have supported him, so he would have grasped the button and continues falling. I get it. So you're saying that he was near the snowman when he was attacked? I am. Within arm's reach, to be precise. He's currently nowhere near that close. Right, but his footprints only go as far as the planter. He never came back this way. What if they weren't his footprints? I think we need to look at all the prints again. All right, I'll take us back to the scene when Mr. Alldown's body was found. More. But the footprints on the left definitely matched up with Mr. Alldown's shoes, right? So what's the deal? Let's take another look and see if we can figure it out. Can we really be sure that these are Mr. Alldown's footprints? Well, they're the same size, a 12, which is pretty big, and the prints match his shoes. They also go straight up to the middle of the planters where his body was found. As we've established, when he was attacked, he fell and grabbed the button of the snowman. Well, being a great thief, I know a few contortionist tricks, but that would be way beyond even me. Some average Joe stretching out his arm that far, basically impossible. You can be reasonably certain that the prints were made by the shoes the victim was wearing. Can we be certain that they were actually victim's shoes? Let's just take another look at them. Really big. Now that I look at it, they actually look really big on them. It's like they swapped shoes. These shoes, as the case file says, they match the footprints, but these aren't the victim's shoes. I'm sure of it. What do you mean? Look at how the laces are tied. Don't they look a little strange to you? It's more, they don't appear to fit properly. The prints, they go right up to where the victim was found. Oh, excuse me. And they stop right by his feet. So are the prints by his head his? The ones that lead away and come back? No, I don't think so. They're too small. So neither set belongs to him? Then how did he get here? That's easy enough. He didn't walk. He was carried by the killer. So then where did the murder take place? Is it really over by the snowman as we suspect? Oh wait. Oh my god. That little crevice. There's a brick missing. Oh my god, bro. Oh. Little brick, dog. It seems quite likely that the missing brick was the one used in the murder, wouldn't you say? Oh yeah, now that you mention it, they're the exact same shape and size. The brick! The brick! That little ass brick, oh my god. I think we have to conclude that the murder actually happened over by the snowman. Right. The button came from there, and the brick too. Indeed. What's more, if the murder took the brick from right by the snowman, and then tried to sneak up on the victim all the way over by the planters, Mr. Alldown would have seen them run away. Exactly. I think we need to update the simulation, Kay. Mr. Alldown wasn't standing by the planters, he was standing next to the snowman. Got you. Alright, here goes. Yeah, no matter how you look at it, this just doesn't work, huh? Indeed. Everybody who was present is in exactly the same spot. So where did we go wrong? One of the pieces of evidence on which we base our simulation must be the source of the problem. What if one of them was faked somehow? But which one was it?
Take that!
Can we really be certain that this picture was taken by Mr. Alldown? It's all coming together! Huh? What do you mean? We know that whoever killed him moved his body. But why would they have done that? What if they wanted to make it seem like he saw something he didn't? And then they took the photo to help back up the lie? They had the president at gunpoint. They could easily have forced him to pose for the picture. He would have no choice but to comply. Hey, now that you mention it, they only recovered one picture from Mr. Alldown's camera, right? Indeed, I imagine his killer probably removed the film that was already in there. They replaced it with another, thereby ensuring the only picture was found was the one they staged. That makes total sense. So the picture was actually taken after Mr. Alldown was killed. No way. There you have it. The picture doesn't show what Mr. Alldown saw at all. It seems highly likely that it was simply staged to make us believe that was the case. Wait, where was the president when Mr. Alldown thought he saw him being kidnapped? Luckily, the photograph isn't the only piece of evidence we can use to try and figure that out. Oh yeah, he left that voicemail too. He did. I think we should listen back to it one more time, don't you?
Take that!
Bang, bang, bang. Recall his statement from Mr. Alldown's voicemail. Damn it, the light's out. Two of the lights here in the yard are broken. Yeah, he must have been talking about the one over by the building. Alright, could you update this simulation to reflect everything we've learned? Sure. And there we have it. The kidnapper was really standing over by the building. Yes, which would certainly have strengthened the theory that they were connected to the orphanage. So they moved the body and staged a photograph to distort the picture painted by the voicemail, which helped them undermine the idea that the orphanage was involved when the case went to trial. Well, that certainly changes what this particular part of the simulation tells us. I imagine it will also affect our understanding of the scene from when the body was found. Only one way to find out. We're gonna make the jump? Switch between the two recreations. I need to... Yeah, I gotcha. I got it. Boom, boom, boom. Blood on the snow. A lot of it. It certainly looks as if the murder occurred here, doesn't it? Wait, but we just figured out that Mr. Alldown wasn't killed over by the snowman, right? We did. I think this blood might belong to somebody else. What? But the police report said that the blood was Mr. Alldown's. May I remind you that the case was overseen by Chairman Winner? The man who had no scruples about altering the official record over something this small. But then, why go to all the trouble? Couldn't you have just cleaned up the blood instead? He wasn't able to. Think about it. He knew that this was where the police would find Mr. Alldown's body. He knew that the police would have certain scientific methods at their disposal to look for clues. Oh, you mean Lumina? Yeah, they would have found traces of blood if they used that for sure. Exactly. You wouldn't have been able to clean it up to the point where it was undetectable. It's been a matter of replacing the official results with a doctored copy. Yeesh. So we've been looking at the forgery this whole time? That sucks. Wait, but it says Mr. Alldown's clothes were covered with blood too. It does. And if they were, which seems entirely believable, it suggests that whoever's blood this is, it wasn't yet dry when Mr. Alldown's body was placed here. I get it, which means the other person's blood was spilled not long before Mr. Alldown was killed. I think it does, yes. But if that's the case, isn't the present something of a contradiction?
Eureka!
I don't know. There's a clear contradiction here. Huh? And the blood stain? The blood is clearly cut off where the snow was melted by the fire, which means that the blood in question was spilt before the fire was started. Huh. But the fire happened before the murder, no? If we choose to believe the case file, yes. But if the fire was actually set after what happened here, the kid who lit it must have seen something. Why isn't there a witness statement? Because that would have challenged Chairman Winner's version of events. We need to know more about this fire. You! Yes, Shifu. The fire might have been reported to the police, which means there might be a record of it. Go see if they have anything to bring everything you find back here right away. Understood, Shifu. I'll get right on it. One more thing. What is it, Shifu? Contact my family back in Jingfa. Tell them to search my father's office. There should be something there related to the case. Should? What kind of something exactly? Bam, bam, bam. I told you. I've seen this scene somewhere before, didn't I? Well, I've remembered where. It was in my father's office. He had a picture of it, or at least of something very much like it. What? It looked like it was drawn by a child. Possibly a child from the orphanage. Possibly even the child who set the fire. It should be there somewhere. Tell him to send it right away. Yes, Shifu. If Chairman Winner was involved in President Wang's abduction, then it seems likely that whatever he dug up yesterday had something to do with the kidnapping. Oh, I get it. You do? You bet I do. We're talking about treasure, right? Loot? Must have been digging up the ransom money. Child was Phoenix, right? I always knew it was Phoenix. The ransom money? $100 million is an awful lot of cash. Burying it would have been a good way to keep it hidden until the heat died down. It certainly seems like a possibility. Glad you agree. Whew. A little bit of a doozy for an investigation. Shifu, I'm back. I brought everything the police had on the fire. And I also brought the picture from your father's office. Oh, one more thing. About time. What kept you, huh? Well, hand it over. Let's take a look at this mysterious picture, shall we? Here's the plushie. Wow, this is a scary-ass photo. This is it. This is the picture I remember. Could this be a depiction of something that happened on the night of the incident? Looks like a kid drew it, huh? Yes. And I'm willing to bet it's the work of the child who set the fire. Shifu, there's... What now? Look, you'll have to wait, okay? Well, Mr. Prosecutor? Wait, wait, bro. Let him talk. Why do you think my father kept this? Imagine he acquired it at some point during his investigation. Although I have no idea why he would have chosen to keep it to himself. Could we see the case file for the fire too? Sure. If you'll just give me a moment to read through it. Seems the boy who started the fire snuck out of bed on the evening of the incident. And then disappeared several days later. What? Must have been because he saw something, right? No, a kid? Really? That's horrible. Sally, not unimaginable. Huh? Looks like the kid left something behind that was put into evidence. Huh? What's this? What's it doing in that case file? What is it, Mr. Prosecutor? Have you seen this somewhere before? Something very much like it, yes. We have a piece of evidence that could very well be connected. I'm sorry, what was I doing? Oh, the plushie.
Take that!
I got distracted. I don't know what it was doing in the evidence for that case, but it looks like that might be the missing horn from this soft toy. Hey, that was President Wang's. You seen it before? Of course, he always keeps it somewhere close by. I remember it because of the missing piece. I see, it has a special device inside that plays recorded sounds when you twist the horn. Hey, do you think maybe putting the horn back on might unlock more recordings? You never know. The toy itself still be up on the 51st floor. Should be still up on the 51st floor. Hey, you heard the man. Yeah, Shifu, I'll go fetch it right away. Here it is, Shifu. The Taurosaurus doll, just like you asked. Good work. Hand it to the prosecutor over there. Oh, does the horn found at the orphanage fit the president's plushie? It fits perfectly. And? Any more recordings on there? Hi, Daijun. Sorry, President Wang. It's me, Amelie. It's been a while. I saw in the news that you were visiting the country soon. I didn't know whether I should get in touch at all, but in the end, I decided I had to.
Overruled.
So turn it off right now. Oh. What's gotten into Judge Gambit? Are you okay? Just turn it off, please. Oh, she's freaking out. You see, I had a baby, a beautiful little boy. Your beautiful little boy. I'm sorry, that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you. Oh, except I called him Sean. Sean Fenn. It's a nice ring to it, don't you think? I knew from the start that wasn't her kid, bro. I knew from the start. No way. No! Sean Fenn. The kid? President Wang's kid? And also that I'll be at the orphanage on the evening on the 9th. I'll be waiting in the front yard. I thought you can meet him if you like, even if it's only just this once. I know you're a very busy man, but anyway, that's where we'll be. Goodbye. Damn. Damn. What? He was my dad? Aw, that's so sad. Oh, this is the SS5 theme? This is a sad song. I'm so sorry, Sean. Care to explain what the heck is going on, Gavel? Sean isn't my biological son. Well, no shit. I didn't think so for a second. You would have been 13 when you had that kid. I didn't believe it for a second. I adopted him. And he was aware of this? Yes, of course. His mother, Amelie Fenn, she died 5 years ago. We were cousins. But we were also friends, the best of friends. People often mistook us for sisters. And so, when she died, it seemed only natural that Sean should come and live with me. Of course, we had to keep his father's identity secret. I decided that the best way to do that would be for him to never know in the first place. Damn. It's quite a lot to learn from a recording made on a seemingly innocent toy. Guess Sean's mother must have recorded the message must have recorded the message and then sent the plushie to the president. Hey. Yes, Sean? You're sure he was really my dad? Yes, I'm sure. Before you were born, your mother worked for a time as a diplomat in Zhengfa. Makes sense. That line of work might well have brought her into contact with the president. What? You told me she worked at the orphanage. She did, but only after she returned, after she quit the diplomatic service. She always loved helping others. The orphanage was perfect for her.
Not so fast!
Sorry, Judge Gavel, but I have to ask. Not so fast! Amelie, the lady who asked the president to come. Why didn't she show up herself? Why is she anywhere in the file related to the SS5 incident? She never made it to the rendezvous that night. Someone was tailing her. I'll bet that was Chairman Winter's doing. Well, sadly, we can't prove it. And because she couldn't make it, she never saw the president again. Then she died 5 years ago. This can't be easy for Sean. Hey, Sean, are you thirsty? Come get a soda. My treat, okay? Come on. I think I saw a vending machine over... You think I can't buy myself a soda? This is important. It's about me. I'm Stag. Oh! That didn't work at all. Sean, perhaps now you can guess why I met with the president 2 nights ago. So that's it. That was the big secret. I want to tell him face to face that Amelie was gone. Aww. But also that you were alive and well. More than well. But it makes sense now. No wonder Judge Gavel was so keen to avoid sharing the details of their meeting. Yeah. She would have had to share the truth about Sean, too. That was why I took the lion lilies with me. So there would be no doubt that I knew Amelie. And that I knew her well. These flowers have been of special significance for the 2 of them, you see. President Wang gave Amelie a bouquet of lion lilies in the early days of their romance. But now, he too is dead. If only he had lived. Sean might finally have been able to get to know him. Aww. Is that why he went to the movie? Because maybe he heard Sean was filming a movie. And that's why he was there, was to see Sean. Shifu! I've been waiting for the right time to say this, but... What? What is it? You've been hovering there this whole time! Can't it wait? They sent something else from Zhengfa. President Wang's will. What? President's will, huh? He gave my father... Okay, I've seen that. What? This is... What is it, Agent Lang? Does it have anything to do with our current case? You could say that. Seems he was planning on publicly acknowledging Sean as his son. Sean's name appeared in the president's will? And we're certain that the document is authentic? That President Wang wrote it himself? Sure we are. It's old, but it's real. My family took charge of it back before the SS5 incident happened. I want to analyze it back home to be sure, but I'll stake my name on it being the genuine article. Wang was a renowned world leader. A child nobody knew about would have been sure to cause a stir. Yeah, he chose to mention it, the child in his will nonetheless. Well, that's that, I guess. Still can't quite believe it, but the president confirmed it with his own hand. There's no denying it. Sean, you're President Wang's son. Gumshoe. Why'd they put Gumshoe there, bro? Sean! Oh. Sean! Chase him, Edgeworth. Sean. He was my dad? Can't have been easy to learn the truth about his father's identity so unexpectedly. And too late to ever get to know him. You know how hard I tried to find him? Sean. I get it. He was the president. He had a lot more to think about than just me. But he was right there in front of me, right there on the set. So why? Why didn't he just say something? Why didn't he tell me who he was? Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, Mom. It's mine. If I hadn't broken my promise to you, that fire would have never happened and you wouldn't have... I've ruined everything. Everything. It's all my fault. I even ruined your flowers. Sean, please, you mustn't blame yourself. Just try to be here with me. Just for a little while. Aww. The bond between parent and child, as symbolized by the lion lily. I'm no expert, but it's native to Zhengfa, so I know that much at least. Sadly, we don't have the luxury of dwelling on such things just now. I know it might seem insensitive, Agent Lang, but sentimentally, it won't help us here. Sentimentality won't help us here. We need to focus on what we can do about the case before us. You're right. I believe we learned all we need to about what happened back then for now. How did it all line up with your father's theories about the case? I wouldn't know. He took those to the grave with him. He never shared his thoughts with anybody. There's no way of knowing what he figured out. What about your own thoughts? Are you feeling any more positive in the light of what we learned from Kay's reconstruction? Excuse me. Are we any closer to learning what really happened 12 years ago? You know, I'm thinking we might be. My father's footsteps are starting to become clear. Now, all we need to do is follow them. All the way to the truth. The real story of the SS5 incident. The president went to the orphanage that night. That much we know for sure. The Tarasaurus toy proves it. He must have gone there to meet with Amelie. I don't know if I pronounced that. I think it's Amelie. Amelie Fenn. Except he was kidnapped, and Alldown happened to see it. If Alldown hadn't been there wouldn't have been a murder, just a kidnapping. Instead, they had to move his body to the planters and stage that photo to throw everybody off the scent. So that's our current theory, is it? There's something I still don't understand. There is? This. Why was staging the picture? They would have had to force the president to play along. What if he hadn't? Or why did he is the real question. It's a good question. We may be closer to discovering the answer than we think. We'll just have to get there one deduction at a time. Yeah, I guess we will. Alright, deduce away. I like how he's accepting it at this point. He's like, alright, do what you gotta do, lawyer boy.
Hold it!
Nothing should be taken for granted at this stage. We need to treat even the seemingly certain with caution. Can we really be sure that the president went to the orphanage? I get it. You want evidence? This is a nice change of pace for people to ask you to show them proof, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? There's no need to actually say it out loud, Kay.
Hold it!
The plushie has a recording device concealed inside it, correct? It does. It was used by Sean's mother, Amelie. I love this one. To record a message asking the president to meet her at the orphanage at midnight. Whoa! You're finishing each other's sentences now. What a team! You two will peel away the layers of truth like an onion, I'm sure of it. You do realize that there's nothing underneath all the layers of an onion, don't you, Kay? Could you try to say something a little less unfortunate sounding? You two will peel away the layers of the truth like the skin of a wolf, I'm sure of it. You said less unfortunate sounding. Shall I continue?
Hold it!
Could we go over the details once again? So Mr. Alldown saw the president being kidnapped from right by the orphanage. And he was standing next to the snowman. The murder crept up behind him. Grabbed a brick and... Ow! Eee! Calm down, Kay. We're simply verifying your understanding of the events. Yeah, well, that little outburst just blew my understanding out of my ears. I know we have to go over all this again. But can we do it less dramatically? Really? Fine. Happy to keep answering if you're happy to keep asking. Or is it like a whole different, like, protagonist? If Mr. Alldown hadn't been there, huh? That's an interesting suggestion. Care to explain? There's not a whole lot to explain. He saw the kidnapping, so he was murdered. If he hadn't been there, maybe the kidnapping could have happened without any blood being spilled. But could it? Makes it sound as if Mr. Alldown's fault. It was Mr. Alldown's fault he was murdered. That's not what Agent Lang is saying, Kay. What he means is that Mr. Alldown was the only person who died at the orphanage that night. Well, of course he was. They kidnapped the president and everything. But the ransom was paid and he came home safely, right? She's right, of course, but why does something bother me about that? I think it might be worth taking another look over all the evidence.
Hold it!
This is another very important part of our current theory. Shall we go over all the details again? Sure, probably a good idea. Alright, first, what did Alldown see? He saw the president being kidnapped right in front of the building. Oh yeah, W0. But the kidnappers were keen to avoid any suggestions that they might be connected with the orphanage. So they replaced the film in Alldown's camera. They staged a photograph of the kidnapping occurring further away from the building. Indeed. And then they moved Mr. Alldown's body to a location consistent with what that picture showed. Secrets buried underneath the snow 12 years ago are finally coming to light. And we're sure that's really what happened that night. What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? I get the sense we're still not seeing everything. That there's something else at play behind it all. There is? But what? There's a piece of evidence we've discovered that Agent Lay's theory can't explain. We have to present him with it and develop our thinking further. God, we have 4 pages of evidence, dog.
Objection!
What emoji? Is there like a... You're saying that there wouldn't have been no murder if Mr. Alldown hadn't witnessed the kidnapping? Oh shit, I missed the objection! But is that really the case? Why wouldn't it be? Their main aim was to abduct the president, right? So if there hadn't been a witness present, they wouldn't have needed to murder anybody. And yet it remains possible that Mr. Alldown wasn't the only person killed that night. Oh shit. Nah, that's fine. Do what you will, it don't matter to me. There was a large pool of blood between the planters, but Mr. Alldown was murdered over by the snowman. It can't have belonged to him. What if that blood by the planters belonged to somebody else?
Not so fast!
Come on, Mr. Prosecutor. You do realize what you're saying, don't you? I do. It's hard to believe. I'll be the first to admit it. But it's what the evidence suggests. Not just one person was killed here 12 years ago, but 2. You're saying they covered up a whole separate murder? But whose? Who else was killed that night? Oh boy. Whoever covered up this homicide did so very carefully indeed. Oh boy. So this fat tub of lard isn't... Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. They even seem to have been able to avoid it being mentioned in our files. But they didn't quite get rid of everything. We have a piece of evidence from 12 years ago that they never managed to erase. This clearly shows that something else happened that night.
Take that!
Excelsius Winter tried to shroud the existence of the other murder in darkness. Thanks to the efforts of your father, Agent Lang. My father? Cast your mind back, if you will. Something else was hidden along the other evidence from the crime scene. The existence of the child who set the fire in front of the orphanage. But why would Chairman Winter wish to erase him from the record? Because he saw something he should not have. That's why. He did? What was it? It's right here in this picture. The picture my father kept. I think we can all agree that that's the president on the right-hand side. And that's the Tarosaurus toy in the hand. But who's that standing across from him?
Take that!
Do I just use that one? Oh, yeah, I like that one. That one's perfect. I was looking for something like that, but that works. Eastern robes and a black dog? That can only be Bodhidharma Canis. What? That's the creepy assassin guy. And what would a hired killer be doing in the presence of a president? I can only think of one thing. That's right. It wasn't a kidnapping that occurred here 12 years ago. It was an assassination. Aya! And Warren LaGuardia and Chairman Winter were. Yes, I think they were complicit. More than complicit, in fact. One provided the venue for the killing, and the other suppressed the testimony of the child who witnessed it. Mr. Alldown was murdered because what he witnessed was actually an assassination, and not the kidnapping he thought it to be at all.
Not so fast!
Do you think I'm an idiot? How could the president have died 12 years ago? We only found his body this morning. He was alive and well until just recently. Yeah, we even met him. Indeed. So we have a president killed 12 years ago and a president killed in the last 48 hours. 2 presidents, in other words. Right, which is completely impossible. Or is it? I think it's entirely possible for there to be 2 presidents. In fact, that would explain a lot. The president Agent Lang spoke of was a noble and capable leader. But this fat tub of lard, bruh. Presidential mask has well and truly slipped. Entirely unlike the man we met. It really did seem as if there were 2 completely different people. But how could one country have 2 presidents? What could explain a situation like that? This is how it's possible for there to be 2 presidents. One of the 2 was a body double. Tell me that doesn't make sense. A body double? President Wang was a man of great power and influence in Jane Thought, a figure on the world stage. There must have been countless attempts on his life over the years, such as the one at Gourd Lake only a few days ago.
Not so fast!
It's true, there were more than a few assassination attempts. But that doesn't mean I'm about to accept that there was more than one president. Not without proof. Do you have any proof that there was more than one president? Okay.
Take that!
Nah, I tried the stage photo. I don't think he's noticed the contradiction staring him in the face. And K. I need K in 3D. Or is he just unable to accept it? What's the matter, Mr. Prosecutor? You're pretty quiet all of a sudden. In Amelie Fenn's recording, she asked the president to be at the orphanage at midnight. But it shouldn't have been possible for him to be there at that time. Huh? How come? Because he was supposedly still at the embassy with your father, Agent Lang. So he had noticed. The only way he could have been in two places at once if there was two of them. Ayah! So the real president, that was the one who died 12 years ago? I think it might have been. But why? And who? Who would have hired Candace to murder the president? In order to figure that out, we'll need to look again at the piece of evidence we recently discovered was a fake. The fake evidence. What was it again? Ah! Stop doing this to me. The photo? The thing that makes sense is the photo.
Take that!
The picture taken with Mr. Aldown's camera was staged sometime after his murder. In other words, the photograph too must have been taken after the real president's death. So who was the president in the staged photograph? The body double. Nothing else makes sense. I believe that the president's double had him killed so that he could take his place permanently. An Excelsius winner, Fifi Lagarde, helped him do it.
Not so fast!
Wait, you don't even have a body to support your theory. Are you telling me it magically disappeared?
Objection!
No. In fact, we know exactly where it wound up. Oh boy, oh my god, Edgeworth, stop, bro. Stop! Stop doing this to me.
Take that!
Chairman Winter dug something up last night. Something he couldn't trust anybody else to retrieve. He thought it might have been the ransom money, but it was actually something even more important. Wait, you mean... That's right, the real president's body. I think it's highly likely anyway. What? The body may have been decomposed in the intervening years, but the bones would surely have remained. Mr. Powers informed us that the construction is due to start here sometime soon. Everything had to be wrapped up before then. The shooting of the movie and the recovery of the president's remains. I guess once they started digging the place up, they would have found them pretty quickly, huh? Agent Lang, we need to have this so-called monster footprints analyzed again. I guess we do. If there was a body under one of them, there should be trace evidence to confirm it. Hey, give me some forensics. Somebody from forensics. God, look, the whole squad's here, bro. Sir, presenting the findings of our analysis, sir. Traces of human remains were found in the dirt, along with other signs of a body having been buried. So, it really was him? Bones were also recovered from the home of Excelsius Winter. Wow, he was just... Why would you keep him? The physique looks like about right. About right. In dental and medical records are a match. It's him, no doubt about it. So as suspected, the real President Wang was killed 12 years ago. And the SS-5 kidnapping was in fact a homicide. Wow, so it really was a murder, huh? Guess it has taken so many twists and turns, I'm starting to lose track. Yes, perhaps we should summarize our findings just to confirm that we understand everything correctly. Good idea. Let's go over everything from the point where the president arrived at the orphanage. 12 years ago, the real President Wang visited the orphanage. His aim? To meet his infant son. Aww. This is so sad. The footprints we originally assumed to be of Mr. Aldown seem likely to have actually been made by the president upon his arrival. But instead of being greeted by his child, Canis, he was met by the assassin, Bodhidharma Canis. Ain't no skew here. That's so sad. He was hoping to see his baby for the first time, only to... Indeed. But at least, with Mr. Canis, we can be sure that the job was swiftly and effectively completed. But still... But then after the assassination, another tragedy occurred. Mr. Aldown's murder. Yes, it seemed he witnessed a key moment in the evening's proceedings. The moment when our culprits, the so-called kidnappers, took the president's body around to the side of the building. That was the site that sealed his fate. We've now established that he was standing by the orphanage gates at the time. far enough away that he believed what he was seeing was the president's abduction. At which point, the body double would come to meet with his co-conspirators, walked right up behind Mr. Alldown, leading to our unfortunate eyewitness being murdered by the man who was plotting to replace the president. So was the body double who moved Mr. Alldown's body too? Yes, I think it probably was. But none of the footprints could have been his, could they? Actually, I think they could. In fact, we have a piece of evidence that proves how the murder took place.
Take that!
What if the president's double moved Mr. Alldown's body like this? After killing Mr. Alldown, his job was to just look like the president. He would have been wearing the same shoes. Meaning that if he stepped exactly in the footprints left by the real president, of course, his would have been the same shape and size. But it would look like a single set of footprints. So that's how it all went down. I'm so glad we finally figured it out. Wait, but there's one thing I still don't get. There is? What? Why did they need to pretend there was a kidnapping? Mr. Alldown had seen the president at the orphanage and left a message on Miss Ringer's phone describing what he saw. It would have been impossible for the conspirators to erase that message, so they had to make it look as if the events described in the message were true by staging a kidnapping like the one he thought he saw. Exactly. I think the two people in the photograph are likely to be the body double and Fifi Lagarde. So the one in the trench coat, how could you be so sure of that? Two of them would have had to walk out beyond the orphanage gates to stage the photo. The body double could have put his feet in the real president's prints as he did before. Oh, so the other set of footprints were hers. The ones who were originally thought to belong to the killer, yes. They're about a size 9, too small for Chairman Winter, in other words. Which means the kidnapper must have been played by Warren Lagarde. And that explains how a so-called kidnapping was actually a presidential assassination. Jeez. It does, which means my father must have noticed. There's no way he wouldn't have suspected a murder, especially not with the kid's picture as a proof. But the picture was never officially put into evidence, correct? No, he appears to have kept hold of it after taking the witness statement of the child who drew it. Yeah, because he knew. He knew President Wang was dead. And he knew what would happen if that news ever got out. Shang Fa would have been plunged into chaos, no doubt. So he kept it a secret, and that secret died with him. Even though it meant taking the blame for the kidnapping and our family name being ruined. So your father knew the truth about what happened 12 years ago, but he chose to hide it? Well, it's finally coming to light at last. Damn. Is it indeed intriguing, Shelley? Huh? What? Who's there?